don't you guys sign it? Thank you. All right, well, good morning, and thank you for coming. It is a momentous day for the city of Tucson. I'm here today to introduce our next city manager. I'd like to thank Richard Fimbres for being here today, and Lonnie Patel, who I know is here somewhere, from Councilmember Scott's office. All of the council have been an intimate part of this process. Selection of the city manager is given to the mayor and council by our city charter, and is arguably among the most important decisions we make as elected officials. The two finalists were interviewed at length by mayor and council, by the city's executive leadership team, which is comprised of department directors and various staff from the city manager's office, by representatives from the city's labor unions, and by a citizens advisory committee. They also participated in a televised question and answer session to which the entire community was invited. All groups agreed and verified what the city council found was that both candidates were well qualified for the position. Ultimately, mayor and council unanimously selected our new city manager and directed our city attorney to proceed with negotiations. A contract will be presented for approval at a regular meeting of mayor and council in the near future. Before I introduce you to our next city manager, I want to thank interim city manager Martha Durkin for her excellent, excellent work. She has done an outstanding job, and continuing to agree to serve as interim city manager through this year's budget process. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce you to the next city manager of the city of Tucson, Michael Ortega, and to welcome him and his family, his wife Pat, his daughters Lauren and Allison, his son Nick, to Tucson. Michael, welcome aboard. With that, Michael would like to say a few words, and he's willing to take your questions.
Well, thank you all for coming. I'm very excited. My family is very excited about relocating to Tucson. It was a family decision early on as far as moving to Tucson and the commitment long-term to Tucson. But first and foremost, I need to thank the city mayor and council, the support and confidence they have in me. I'm very much looking forward to working with them. I'm also looking forward to working with the entire community. The issues that Tucson face will require a team effort, and the city staff as well. They're an integral part of any solution, and I'm looking forward to our next time together. So with that, thank you to Martha for spending time with me, and for Councilmember Fimbres for being here as well. And again, Mayor, I just wanted to mention that, and the Mayor may not know I'm going to say this, the Mayor and I met back in December 6th. I actually had the opportunity to attend an AAD presentation that the Mayor attended, and I was very impressed with what the Mayor said about economic development, about infrastructure needs in Tucson. And at that time, I had not decided. I had heard there was a potential opening for city manager, but I had not decided to submit my application, or at least put my hat in the ring. But after hearing the Mayor express his vision, but also the council's vision as a whole, in terms of the issues that this community faces, that was pretty much, after I went home and spoke with my family, pretty much the decision, or at least the day that that decision was made, for us to consider putting in for the city of Tucson city manager.
And, you know, I'm going to take a break. Craig's here, and I'll get him in the room. It's okay. So, Craig, to catch you up, I made a few kind remarks, and then introduced our new city manager, Mike Ortega. He has made a few remarks, and we're about to open it up to questions.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to hang on as a latecomer, but pardon us, we get a cold start in the mornings. But Not a novel question. What's on your to-do list?
Well, first and foremost, it's, I need to address our budget with Cochise County. There's a transition period. I'm sure you all know about some of the things that counties are facing in terms of budget issues, and so I need to help my employer, Cochise County, address those issues and wrap that up. I've mentioned to the council that I'm really interested in meeting with them, initially getting names of individuals they would like to meet with and speak to, and also really studying the issues. I'd like to understand them in great detail. I will be spending a lot of time with the staff initially just to really get an understanding of the issues that Tucson faces.
If you were given a character sketch of Tucson as it stands right now, what would you say?
I'd say it's got tremendous potential, and I'm excited to be a part of exploring that and working with the community and the mayor and council to make some great things happen.
When you met with the council and the mayor, what came up in their thoughts of what the city manager needs to be and where it needs to grow? What you need to do to move us forward?
Sure. I'm not sure I can address that. Mayor, I'll have to defer to you. It was an executive session, and I don't want to violate anything.
I think you can give them your general impressions of what mayor and council are looking for.
There were two pretty basic issues that face the community, one, and the government as a whole. One is budget. They're extremely concerned about the budget issues that Tucson faces. The second is economic development. I'll call it addressing of poverty and really working towards the prosperity of the community as a whole. So on a macro scale, those were the two general issues and general items that the council expressed.
So what do you bring with those to see?
Well, I won't get into detail on that because obviously I want to study them and analyze them in a lot more detail than I have. Clearly, the budget is something that I'm very familiar with, not Tucson's budget necessarily, but budgeting as a whole. I suggested some concepts to the mayor and council that I will be exploring in more detail once I start. So my background in budgeting. From an economic development standpoint, it really becomes a role of understanding the issue and playing the role or part, if you will, as a team, because it's a regional effort. It's not necessarily just a city government, but the city government plays a role. And I've demonstrated with multiple projects in the past my ability to facilitate and either take a leadership role or a subordinate role as we move forward in economic development projects.
One final question for me. With that, you're going to be looking at to expand the tax base by looking at how to increase land incorporation. Is that an issue?
Annexation.
Annexation, thank you, sorry.
I will tell you that everything will be on the table for review. I think the first order of business is to understand what potential is out there and then certainly address that with the mayor and council, and from a policy standpoint, if that's something they see as bringing value to solving or at least addressing part of the situation, absolutely. But clearly it would be a policy issue that would be in support of the mayor and council's vision.
Thank you.
What's the timeline look like? How long are you going to continue working for Cochise County? When do you anticipate moving up here and taking the reins here?
Well, we're going through our budget process at Cochise County now. I expect that we'll have those wrapped up probably in the June time frame. So I'm hopeful in the June time frame I will be able to devote my full attention to Tucson.
And I'm assuming you guys have negotiated a contract at this point?
We have an agreement in principle, which we need to bring to mayor and council. But Dylan, to get back to your last question.
Mayor, do you mind?
Oh, I'm sorry. With regard to the timing question, because Mike is the county administrator of Cochise County, he needs to finish up, and I think it shows his responsibility that he's going to finish up his professional duties to Cochise County this year. As we were going through this process the last few days, obviously we spoke with Ms. Durkin, and it is her intent to stay on with the city, and but she also believed that it made the most sense to have her complete this year and have Mike learn the process as we're going along. So I think we're anticipating probably a June start date.
So because we are in the middle of our own budgeting process here in the city, we're going to sort of keep things status quo for the moment?
Correct.
And about that contract, about that draft agreement, when will that come out?
I don't know, it'll probably be the first April meeting, just given what our schedule is. We have a pretty full schedule for next Tuesday. It'd be pretty early to get it on, so I'm assuming the first meeting of April. Anything else? Come on, you-
When we were talking about the issue of annexation and such, that might lead to a little friction with the county, and the relations have not always been 100% smooth there. What do you think you might be able to do in that regard, and does your position as a county official now help with that?
Well, obviously, there's, again, going back to the policy decision or direction from the city council. So that's where it starts. If the city council would ask that be explored, we will look at that. The county is certainly a player in that. I come from a partnership, if you will, standpoint. I'm not familiar with the quote issues, if you will, that might exist, but I will certainly reach out if that's the will of the mayor and council to move in that direction. I will certainly reach out and try to work and partner. If it's good for the community, I would like to think that everyone in the community would band together and make that happen.
Not to rain on your parade on your happy day here, but neither you nor the other finalist got an exceptionally ringing endorsement from the Citizens Committee. They cited a lack of creative solutions presented by both of you guys. How do you respond to that?
Well, obviously and I did read an article in the paper as to what the quote vote was on from the Citizens Committee. I understand that, and that's what makes this country great. Everybody can express their opinion. Ultimately, the responsibility for city governance rests with the mayor and council. I believe that the process was very open, very extensive, and it's quite frankly one of the most open processes that I've seen today.
Dylan, I'm not sure where you get your quote from, but I can tell you
From sitting there watching it, startling lack of creative solutions.
What I now understand is what happened in the first 40 minutes, and then I remember what happened tonight, because I watched it too, and then I saw what happened the next 3 hours. And so cherry pick 40 minutes for what happened the next 3 hours is not fair. And I can tell you that when Kara West and Mark Homan came before us and spoke to us for close to an hour, probably over an hour, what they told us was that both candidates were very qualified, and they had different strengths and weaknesses, and that we would be comfortable, and they would be comfortable as a committee with either candidate. So that's what we received. Anything else?
Just in closing, Mayor, if I can just again thank the mayor and council. I want to thank my family for being here. We're very, very excited, and we're looking forward to our paths crossing again. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.